seen and unseen, I greet you with the holy word peace from here at InfoComm 2021. My name is Bradford Ben. I am here on behalf of AVNation interviewing the interesting people I'm meeting here at InfoComm, a trade show. It's great to be meeting people in person. This time I'm joined by Paul Dexter from Jetbuilt.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. I'm always glad to talk to new people. Off camera, we were talking about his product because I'm like, I've been looking for this solution for a while. So I know Jetbuilt, as you started explaining, is a customer relationship manager as just a small part, and then the rest of it is much bigger, and it's all developed for the AV industry.
Correct. Yeah. So, at its core, it's a sales platform for AV projects. I was an AV integrator for many years, and I built a quoting solution out of FileMaker Pro. I'm a little bit of a FileMaker Pro hack, and I loved it. And I even put it on the cloud. So my small team, my company was small, but we did between $1 and $2 million in projects, commercial projects a year. So 2 or 3 salespeople and some installers, and we could all quote in collaboration on this FileMaker Pro solution. And I kept waiting for one to come out in the industry. I mean, there's a number of players who make legacy quoting software. There's a number of generic players as well, both built for AV and some generic. And I was waiting for a good cloud collaborative solution to come along, but especially built for AV. But none of the players were interested in doing that. And so as a result, I decided in 2014, let's go ahead and launch it. We launched in this building here in 2015, June, in Orlando here, in our little tiny 10 by 10 booth, just showing people the power that the cloud could be. Because at that time in 2015, cloud version of QuickBooks and cloud version of everything, it was considered subpar and it can't work at a high level. But over these last 6 years, we've grown to now be the most commonly used platform for commercial AV by far. And it's exciting because clearly we did start with a lot of small integrators that were early adapters that could understand this is going to be good for my little team. But at this point, we have just many of the top, like the SCN top 50 integrators and many of the top 10. So it's just exciting to see global integrators around the world quoting on the cloud and running their teams, projects around the world on such a platform. So it is a sales platform at its core, and it's built for AV. I have such a passion for AV. It's been my whole life, so I love AV, and our product is built for AV. There's 2 million AV products in the platform. So when you sign up for an account and you can just say I've got this project and it's got these rooms, it's got these systems, and then I need some white ceiling speakers, and you type in white ceiling speaker and here they all are, and then you start dropping them in. It's kind of like shopping on Amazon, but you just start populating your project. And then if you're a dealer for these items, you see your dealer cost in there. So really quickly and really efficiently, you can populate an entire project, and both small scale but a very large scale project in just very quick time. And then the estimating tools are very elaborate and detailed to analyze margins and so forth, and then labor and shipping and travel expenses and so many other things. And then ultimately exporting a really world-class proposal, a winning proposal. Many of our customers tell us it's that quality and clarity of that proposal that wins us these projects, because the end user, the customer, sees it and they don't have to figure it out. It's just so we've kind of taken everything that we could do to make these clear, presentable, and so forth for high selling. So there's what Jetbuilt does in 2 minutes.
Okay, I like it because I've been trying to bolt on tools, and the reason I chuckled at FileMaker is I wrote my own in FileMaker.
You did as well. See,
also.
FileMaker's great. I love the FileMaker.
For those who aren't familiar, FileMaker is a relational database for the Mac operating system. It's their version of Access databases from Microsoft. See, my nerd runs deep. So it sounds like it's a powerful tool. So you said there's 2 million items. Now, I'm assuming I can add more items, such as if I do custom built items or have a different dealership.
Yes, yeah, and what's another interesting thing and what helps make Jetbuilt so fast to use is if I'm in the middle of a project and I've added all these items that exist in the real world, but I have this custom bracket that I manufacture in my shop, I don't have to leave that project, go to my back end, and I got to add item and then build it and do all this and what's it cost, how much is it in this. Instead, you're in the project, and if you got your new item, just click add item and make item, create item, and then you're creating an item. What is it? Well, it's a custom bracket, and it usually costs us about $50 in raw material and so much hours of labor and this, and I sell it for this, and here's a little photo of it, and then bam, it's in your project. And then if that bundles up to a TV and a balun and some cable, let's make a bundle out of that. So next time I'm in the project, just add my TV bundle, and there's my bundle along with my custom item. You're never leaving the project for any of these things. You're in the project, you're working fast the entire time.
So you mentioned something we hadn't talked about before, and this one perked up my ears because I've seen this mistake happen quite often. If I pick a projector or pick a display or pick a large format loudspeaker, this automatically includes, or I can set up using a configuration tool, here's a group and these all go together. So as a salesperson who is not necessarily the most AV savvy, as some of us know we have.
That's never happened.
They can literally just go, I have a TV here, and it will add, here's the bracket, here's the cable, here's the decoder. And
absolutely, yeah, and we don't make those configurations for you, although sometimes they're required by the manufacturer. This receiver has to be paired with this mount, or this QSC core has to be sold with this license and so forth. But the reason we don't is because by and large, every integrator has their own special sauce for those bundles, right? And so you would take and in this project, you're putting this, 75-inch TV, this, peerless mount, this balun set, this cable, and maybe this, some installation services, back box, whatever it may be. And then you're like, you know what, I like that. I'm going to sell that more often. You just simply select those items, make a bundle, call it, your go-to 75-inch bundle, and you do that in your office. But then, and you can, and then anytime a salesperson types in 75-inch TV, that bundle shows up on top in blue and bold. And so they're like, you know what, that's right, that's the one they keep telling me to go to. You can also chevron, or what we call chevron, it's like a ranking. So inside your office, you can rank items as 3, 2, or 1 chevrons, meaning when a salesperson types in like white ceiling speaker, they're going to get a bunch of them. They're going to get all of them. But they see the ones with the chevrons. That's the one the boss wants them to use, right? So a lot of little tricks like that. But yeah, yes, to your question, yeah, you can configure these bundles very simply and easily.
And having tried to do that in SAP and Salesforce, I can tell you configuring a bundle is not easy. And I actually didn't know you guys did that. Now I'm like, this would have been
really
my
like
life.
it.
Yeah, I really like it. Now, so this helped you create the estimate.
Yes.
Does it also help you track the rest of the project as you move forward?
Yeah, and what's funny is our story was that we wanted to be the best in class for quoting and proposals, and we wanted to leave, project management, inventory, all this other stuff outside. But the users that come and say, but we use that for project management, but it would just be so better if it could be inside a Jetbuilt. So we started eventually listening and going, you know what? We'll start building those things. So we built project management. It's a platform called Install, and it's a module, and it's an optional platform, and so now your installers, every item that you've got in your project, which is the click of a button, they've all got installation tasks, and you could even get granular if you want. Let's say it's a Middle Atlantic wall rack. You can break up inside that item. Every time you sell that item, it automatically has pre-wire install tasks, meaning hang the panel, throw the box away, take a picture of the back can. I'm sorry, the back can, and store the actual rack back in the shop. And then 2 months later or a year later, when it's time for finish, now hang the actual rack, which may be populated and so forth. So these installation tasks are built into the sales platform. So as you're dropping items into them, your installation tasks are automatically being populated on a granular level if you want to get that micro. Or you can simply check a button and every single item in the project has a simple install this item task. And they're doled out, whether they're programming tasks for programmers, engineering tasks, installation tasks, and so forth. And then on the phone, the installers are told, don't forget to stop by Home Depot for this, and don't forget to put the ladders on the truck, and then they're checking off. They're also clocking in, and we're tracking their time, and they're taking their breaks. It's logging their hours to the project. And what's interesting about that is halfway through the project, we've been tracking all these hours for every one of these tasks. And so you've got a dashboard. Your project manager has a dashboard that it shows, boy, you're only halfway done the project, but you've spent 2/3 of your labor. So you guys are behind. Based on the items you've installed, you're running behind, giving you the opportunity, not that you can make it up, but you can try. And you can start to pivot, you can start to work this out and find where this is coming from, and also make improvements then for the next project. So we give you these over-unders based on, once you get to about 1/3 of the project completion, you start getting over-unders on how you're going to come out for labor.
No, I like that idea, especially. So it sounds like you're rolling up the best of a customer relationship, best of accounting, project cost tracking, all into one, so you can go from start to finish.
Correct.
And make sure you're being profitable along the way.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And then finally, we rolled out stock last month, actually. So stock is like an inventory management tool. So, which is fun because not only does it track what you've got in your warehouse, but it goes far beyond that. In the sales platform, let's say again, you type in LED display, it's going to show you everything that exists out there. But right on the top, it's going to show you, hey, you've got 5 of these in the warehouse. You've got 3 of those that came back. So it shows your stock. So it encourages, let's use up those before we go buy more, and that accounts for everything in your warehouse. So it may not be the right thing for the job, but it may be, right? And so we put those in front of the sales, and then of course in purchasing, if a job required 20 speakers, but you get a break at 30, purchasing can go ahead and order 30, and then we allocate 10 into stock. And so next time they're doing a project and they need 5 speakers, now you can just pull from stock. So stock is really meant to, because we're not storing massive amounts of inventory, it's mostly pass-through, but there are certain items you keep in stock, and certain bulk items, of course. And then beyond that, you can track it when it's received and who received it, what warehouse, rack and shelf it went to, when it was put on which van, and when it was put into maybe a storage container on the job site, and then when it was installed. And the project managers can watch all of these actions. So if an item goes missing, they know exactly where it was last. And so they at least know where to start at finding this item, which has been a big problem. A lot of even when I was a small company, we would do $1 million projects, and we've got these 5 decimators that someone brought in the building, and we don't know where they are, But with Jetbuilt stock, we know exactly where they are. They put, Larry put them in the basement storage room, last Thursday, so let's go get them. So pretty powerful stuff.
And I have an alibi for all those missing items.
Yes, of course you do.
So I know this is as a service, so I have to ask, where's the website? People can go take a look at it, and since it is a service, there's nothing really to download onto their computer.
Correct.
It sounds like.
Yes, correct. So it's platform agnostic, and so as a Mac guy, I love that because the other platforms required me to always install Windows on my laptop and everything else. But we embrace all. We have no preferences. So it's jetbuilt.com, jetbuilt.com. We're a global platform, so users all around the world can use Jetbuilt, and there's a free trial. So you just simply open it up, start making a project, and instantly you can start populating your project, and then you can become connected to dealers to see that pricing if you're authorized dealers, and the manufacturers activate those bits. But one thing I want to mention about this global, we launched a global initiative last month, and we're talking about it a lot this week at InfoComm. Jetbuilt today has 25% of our users outside of the US. So 75% of our base is here, but only 25% outside the US. And we do a good job of handling cross currencies. For example, maybe a company based in UK buys some items in pounds, some items in euro, maybe even some items in US dollars, but they may be selling the project in yet a 4th currency, and we handle all of those conversions, and they can track their margins in their home currency and so forth. So it's very powerful. But with this 25% base that we have outside the US, we feel that's not fair to the full AV marketplace, which clearly there's more AV going on than 25% outside the US. So this next 18 months, we're making a big push to make the application more native to every country. So for example, we've got users in Germany and users in France, but they're having to work in English. So we're adding German to the application itself, so they can work in German, they can work in French, They can work in Spanish, and so we've got users currently in 20 countries and more all the time. And so by the end of 2022, they'll all be able to work in their native language, just to basically better respect those users that work in those offices. And again, for a global company, that means someone in the U.S. can work on a project in U.S. and they can see their margins in U.S. dollars. Well, that same exact project is being done in Germany, and the user there is working in German. He's seeing his dollars and margins, or his costs and margins in euro. So that power is pretty fantastic, and so we're really focusing on making it better and more native. We're opening up a business hub in London next year and hiring a local support team also, because projects are quoted differently, operate differently, taxed differently in Europe than they are here. And while we handle those technical things, we don't handle necessarily the native. We don't have that cool British accent when they call us for support. So we're adding that in. So no, but it's just all about, this global initiative is really just to better embrace the global community, and that's what it's all about. So excited for that.
That sounds pretty cool. I also know now what I'm going to be doing after the show, because before I sign up for other things, I'm going to try the free trial.
Try the free trial. There you go. There you go. We'll look for that.
So appreciate the time.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure, and I love to geek out about FileMaker.
It's still one of my favorites.
Yep.
So, I'm Bradford Ben. Thanks for spending your time with me today as we talk about some solutions to help you streamline your business. We'll be back here to talk about other problem solvers for you. Thanks once again.